Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video, and in this video we are going to take a look at the brand new TEQ Hit, or well, I should say feels like brand new TEQ Hit. So this is the Easy A for the TEQ Hit unit. Obviously he has had an increase in his Universal Survival Saga leader skill and his Universe 6 leader skill. He's also had his super attack adjusted to raise his defense as well. In terms of his passive, he has attack and defense of 30% per Universe 6 category ally, attacking in the same turn, plus a medium chance of stunning all enemies when all allies attacking in the same turn are Universe 6 category allies, plus an additional attack and defense of 160% when performing a super attack, plus an additional attack of 80%, and attacks effective against all types when the target is stunned. So Hit's got a pretty nuts passive. Obviously, just in terms of his build, I think you definitely, I don't know, I feel like additionals works well on Hit, but obviously on later forms of long form content you're going to struggle to get good damage out of him if you don't have some crit. So I do kind of suggest going for a split on this one, but it's going to be entirely up to you. I do think going a split on him is the best scenario to use him in multiple forms of content, but if you want to go for the purest damage build, crit will still be the best option overall. Beyond that, he's on a couple categories: Rapid Growth, Universe 6, Universe Survival Saga, Space Traveling Warriors, and yeah, he looks pretty damn good. Links wise, he's got an interesting link set. He's got Shocking Speed, Torment of Power, and Warriors of Universe 6. And he's going to probably run best on a Universal Survival Saga and a Universe 6 category team. Hit is pretty impressive. Right off the bat, he's got a really good Easy A. The biggest problem with him before, actually, he already did solid, decent damage. Possibly not the greatest damage in the world like nowadays in the current meta, but he did do really good damage. Like, Hit was doing honestly some really good damage beforehand. Now he's doing some really insane damage. So he's doing really nuts numbers, like, overall. And his defense is going to be so solid nowadays. I mean, you look here, he has almost 100k defense before even hitting his super attack. His defense raises so high on his super attack because of that additional 160%. He is just going to he's going to be so good defensively after his super. Obviously, this is a Universe 6 G's. What an attack stat. Obviously, this is a Universe 6 team, so he's getting the full benefit of his passive at this point, which is great. But his attack stat is nuts. Like, absolutely nuts there. And yeah, he's just so impressive. I mean, we look here, he's got a lot of links activated. He shares a lot of links with Vado's Cold Judgment as well, so he's getting that nice defensive increase. And yeah, he's got 5 links active. He's got 96k defense, okay, before supering. So remember, he gains a tremendous amount of defense on super, 160%. He also raises his super his defense on his super for 1 turn. So when he supers, his defense is going to like over double, which is incredible, and just makes him really impressive. And yeah, we won't see his attack stat here because unfortunately Kale decided to go for like all 3 of her multiple super attacks, but it's incredible how big the change is in his defense. Now people will say, oh, 96k, yeah, okay, so he can't be in the first slot, that's obvious. But Hit's not designed to be in the first slot. He's designed to be in the second and third slot, either as a floater or you're going to run him as your second part of your main rotation. He's just a crazy unit. Here we have support from Champa. Again, defense is looking rock solid even without that Cold Judgment link, looking very good. Going to be well over 200k once he supers, once he gains those benefits. And yeah, we'll see his attack stat here, 6.1. I mean, 6.1 million attack stat. This guy can stun, okay, he can lower attack and defense. When he hits them, they lose 20% attack, they lose 80% defense. He is just incredible offensively. And his utility in his kit is great. His passive now lets him on a Universe 6 team almost stun, will have a decent chance of stunning the entire rotation. That's going to augment his damage to crazy levels. And he also can stun himself from his passive as well, from his super attack. So he's got two sources of stun, being able to proc 1 for 1 turn, 1 for 2 turns. He just looks really amazing. Just looks really incredible. Now this hit does have 3 dupes, so you will see this is pretty much close to, it's basically the same as being rainbowed. We're like 300 stats off in attack, defense, and HP from being rainbowed. So yeah, you will see a difference obviously between this hit and a 55% hit, but he's honestly so impressive. Like it's just insane how much better he's gotten just from this EZA, and just like overall how much like better he's looking as a unit, how much more reliable he's looking, how much more solid he's looking. He's just very, very impressive right now. And I think they've done a really, really good job with like making Hit once again. Like when Hit came out, the thing is Hit was already somewhat underwhelming because the meta at the time changed. So before Hit came out, Dokkan was highly based on attack damage. Obviously it's still, I mean, you need to have damage to clear events, but Dokkan was like almost entirely based on attack damage, like getting the most attack out of your units. Units weren't really, I would say, defensive orientated. So when Hit came out, the meta had finally shifted in that a lot of units were requiring defense, they needed defensive stats, they needed, ways to like control the battlefield, and events like the LGE had come out, and long form events and bosses and Dokkan events that started being immune to stunning and things like that. So all of a sudden the Hit and his kit, which was designed to be like, hey, I have the ability to do high levels of damage and stun people and all these forms of control, and all these things just kind of went out the window, and Hit kind of when he came out was just not usable. And for me, this EZA just brings Hit from a period of where he's almost never been relevant as a unit, like barring his decent attack stats and his leader skill, which has been okay, even though we have like 4 Universal Survival Saga leaders now, basically, in some sense or another. Yeah, he just honestly improved so much, and it's really, really impressive. Here we're running him, so we're going to be running him here in this team with an older version of himself, just for some fun. Obviously we lose a little bit on the leader skill, but it's not like that big a deal. But yeah, we're running him in this team with like an older version of himself, just so we can see and take a look at how much more he's improved over his EZA. Now remember, the friend Hit cannot stun. So just compare the two. The friend Hit has 48k defense. That's it. He gains nothing. He has no way of raising his defense. That is as high as it gets. This Hit has 73k defense. Big difference. Obviously the EZA stats do factor in, but both hits are at 3 dupes. So that's the first major difference. Then obviously this hit's going to gain 160% defense. Look at that, 4.8 million. No other Universe 6 characters in the rotation. He's not stunned, he's not anything, so he's not getting that attack boost. Look at that, and the moment he hits him, boom, big debuffs, big increase in his, he stuns him, he lowers his defense, he lowers his attack. Just amazing. Just such a good unit now. It's really, really awesome, and especially for Hit, because the Universe 6 team is currently, and has been for a while, is obviously dominated by Kefla and Kale and Caulifla, which have exceptional units, and I still think I still think overall the team will be dominated by that, but it is so important that Hit himself now has viability. Like, it's so important that Hit himself, like, he is worth taking. Even if you just stick him in the third slot, he's actually still going to be super worth it. Like, even having Hit as a floater on now a Kale and Caulifla dominated team will be perfectly acceptable. Having him in second slot will be acceptable. Hit has a place on the team just through the sheer prowess of his abilities. Like, because of his defense, because of his utility, because of his huge attack stats, Hit now kind of almost just forces his way onto the Universe 6 team. And I think that's the best thing they could have done. Because for Hit to force his way, or to get onto the Universe 6 team, which is obviously that all the Kale and Caulifla units just link so well, you have to almost kind of force him on there with brute strength. Like, we look at this friend one, this is now the best situation we can have him in. He's got double defensive supports, a huge defensive support in the form of Android 17, big support in the form of Kaba. He's at 73k. That is literally probably close to the highest defense that Hit could have previously had. He literally couldn't have had like higher defense, and like that's insane for me. Well, not insane, like obviously that's what it was, but this level of increase in his defense is just so powerful now in terms of that. Like, hey, look how much better his defense is. Look at how big his attack stats are now. I mean, if we look at him here, like, similar situation, 83,000, sure, okay. Obviously, you think on the face of it, oh, not that much more defense or anything like that. But that defense has to still undergo he didn't have the 30% extra from having Kaba on rotation, because remember, Kaba's Universe 6. So, like, and also he's going to undergo 160% on super defense. He's going to raise his defense as well on his super attack. And his attack stats are just going to be out of this world nuts. And like, it's just insane. It's just so good for Hit as a unit. And yeah, I'm really happy, because for me, like, obviously I just think Hit as a unit was struggling for relevancy on his teams. It's very difficult when, like, as a unit you only have the ability to link with, like, for example, Jiren or stuff like that, and there's no real units on your team that you can link with, that you can kind of get going with. And it does create, like, a problem for the unit, because Hit then struggles to find a place to belong. He struggles to, like, find somewhere where he can, be linked up, where he can get things done, where he can, like, do all of these things. And so it creates a real issue for him, because by not, like, working with the majority of the units for a category, you can kind of get left out in the cold in a selection point of view. Now he's so powerful that he just has to be on the team, which is great. Like, it's absolutely great. It's fantastic. So yeah, from that perspective, awesome. Super happy about Hit. I think it's great. It's fantastic for him. And yeah, from my angle, this EZA has been great. And I think it's one of the better EZAs that they've done. I think, they've really helped him find his category. Well, find his purpose. Like, he's never going to link perfectly with the Universe 6 team, but now he's great on the Universal Survival Saga team. And he's so great that it's enough to kind of break up your existing teams to a certain extent. Like, you might go, hey, you know what, actually, I know I could run a full Kale and Caulifla team, or I could run this, or I could run that, but I actually think I'm going to run Hit and Jiren on this Universal Survival Saga team, or I'm going to run Hit as a floater on this, on this Universe 6 team, or I'm going to run him on this Space Traveling Warriors team. Like, it's just so much worth it for hit. So yeah, obviously in terms of links, you know, we've got Infighter, we've got some strange links there. So Universe, well, Tournament of Power is a very easy link to get. That's great. The Warriors of Universe 6 unit link obviously is great for Warriors of Universe 6, and I'll help him on the Universe 6 team, you know, with like linking with Kaba or Kefla or Kale. His other link, Shocking Speed, is also okay. Cold Judgment he can get from units like Jiren and Vardos, so that's also okay. So he's okay on links. Experienced fighters, Infighters are difficult links to get together. They kind of stick or belong with like Goku units and things like that. So it is a little bit difficult to kind of just say, well, yeah, you know, there's this perfect link partner for him. His best link partner is probably Jiren. That Jiren that I kind of showed earlier, that's going to be his best link partner. This Gohan and Frieza unit's also a good link partner for him. Obviously he doesn't benefit from the you know, directly so much from the like how do you say, like, benefits from the support or anything like that, but I mean, they do at least link well. But yeah, I mean, they don't necessarily like carry a lot of additional benefits for each other, whereas like Jiren is probably the best from that perspective, because Jiren himself has a chance to stun, which obviously is super helpful. So Jiren can help stun, Jiren can, you know, obviously trigger his additional part of his passive for that stunning mechanism. So like that is a big benefit, because again, it just like helps him activate more of his attack. It gets his effective against all types going and things like that. So yeah, I would say Jiren is definitely his best linking partner, but you do have some options. But I think he's still relatively quite stuck on a Universal Survival Saga and a like, you know, a Universe 6 team. He's okay on a Space Traveling Warriors team. Like, I think he'll be fine on a Space Traveling Warriors team. I wouldn't say he'll be exceptional or anything, but he'll definitely hold his own on a Space Traveling Warriors team. But I wouldn't say like, you would definitely just leave him as like a floater or something. He wouldn't be like a main unit or like a main rotation unit. So yeah, definitely think that's his best team. But he's great if you can just get Shocking Speed and Fierce Battle active, just for a bit of that key, just for a bit of that additional like attack damage support. Then you're gonna get a really top-notch unit. So yeah, from my side, I think that's really all you need. And yeah, so there's at least some options there. You see like the you know, the Zangya, the Space Traveling Warriors Zangya. She's got some decent linking with it, so yeah, pretty solid. But overall, I think you'll find that just his sheer strength in numbers, like his attack damage, his defense, all those sort of things, are going to be so high now that I don't want to say you can't like avoid putting him into your teams, but he's just like, he's so good now that he can make a space on your team. Like, if you're just looking for a good source of utility, he's great. But that's it from me. Leave a comment and a like if you enjoyed the video. Otherwise, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Until then, bye.